Hey everybody, welcome to the Mark Parham Podcast. You can follow me online by typing in Mark Parham Podcast, and I should pop up on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. So I was looking at UConn versus Michigan, men's basketball yesterday, and it was an amazing game. It was a game where both teams really wanted to win, both coaches wanted to win, and I love games where they're very intense and they can go either way. And Dan Hurley likes to compete, and then the coach for Michigan this year, he also likes to win. And so, the game could have went either way. I was predicting that. Well, I predicted that Michigan would win, and the reason why I said that is because Michigan has a lot of tall players that can actually play, on the inside. And the thing with UConn is, they're, like I said, an amazing team, but Michigan really has, tall players that can score in the paint. And I think that was something that UConn was missing. Like UConn, they're very good at taking jump shots and things like that. But, players that are going to go on the inside, they don't have that. And I think if they had players that can actually play on the inside, like I said, they could have won. But, things went the way they went. I think this is University of Michigan's second national title, if I'm not mistaken. And, like I said, it was a great game. And when you have two coaches like that and two teams like that, it really, increases I would say the competition level of any game. Like Dan Hurley's somebody, whether people like his antics or not, he loves, to win. He loves to win, and he's somebody that really loves his players. Like you see a lot of coaches where, all they care about is, coaching and getting the next contract and all this other stuff and personal, victories and things like that for themselves. But he's somebody where he's interacting with his players. He's, sitting up and consoling them when, they don't do too well or when they're feeling down on themselves. Like he's really a player coach, as they say. And I think that's amazing. Like UConn, in my opinion, he's got that job for as long as he wants it to coach that basketball team because, he's somebody where it's not fake. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and as they say, and just the way he interacts with his players. Like he almost treats his players like their family. And you don't get that with a lot of coaches. Sometimes you get coaches where, once a game is over, then that's it. Like you can tell that he wants all of his players to succeed off the court and on the court. And that's amazing. And as far as Michigan, Michigan has an interesting story this year because a lot of those players have come from other colleges. And, to get a bunch of guys that transfer and come into, the University of Michigan is amazing. Like like I said, I think the starting rosters, I think from what I was seeing online, some folks are from North Carolina and, different schools and stuff like that. And it's amazing that that group of guys was able to come together and just say, what, let's win. Like they weren't concerned about, well, you know what, I'm a star wherever I was at, so I'm going to come here and do the same thing. Like both teams yesterday, you can tell they're teams. And I applaud that because sometimes when you watch sports, it's like you have people out there that, they want to get the highlight. They want to be the person to score 20 points. You can tell with UConn and Michigan, they are true teams that, it's just like if I need to pass the ball to somebody, then I'm going to do it. They're not somebody that's going to sit back and try to make layups and stuff that they know they can't make because, they want to make a good highlight somewhere. So, like I say, I was impressed. Like, in my opinion, that was an amazing college basketball game. And, with games like that, more people are going to tune in to watch, college basketball and just basketball in general. Like, games like that are the reason why people watch sports. And I can't say that about some of the other basketball games on the men's side. Like, some of the games on the men's side, for me at least, haven't been as impressive as certain games that I've watched in the past. But this game was, in my opinion, it was amazing. And you have two fan bases with Michigan and UConn that are very passionate. Like you have fans that are hardcore Michigan fans, hardcore UConn fans. So I was just, like I said, it was a pleasure to watch that game. And it's going to be very interesting to see, who's going to win the national championship in college basketball in 2027. Like, who knows? Is it going to be Michigan? Is it going to be UConn? Is UConn going to come back? Or, maybe Duke? And so it's going to be very interesting to see in 2027 what's going to happen because, like I say, you have a lot of good players that are seniors, and it's going to change the whole landscape of, certain teams. But like I said, the way things are now. I mean, you can't predict, what college team's going to win anymore. Like back in the days, you could say, oh, okay, well, this team is going to keep winning this many championships. And now, like I said, with the transfer portal, I mean, who knows? You could have your favorite player that plays for Michigan say, oh, I want to switch over to, such and such team, Duke or something. So, like I say, now you don't know who's going to win. Like you can't predict, what team is going to do very well. It's almost like with women's college basketball. With women's college basketball, because of the transfer portal and stuff like that, you're going to see a lot of things being shaken up. Like I was looking at the women's college basketball transfer portal information and stuff. Like, people giving out updates on Twitter. And all I'll say is it might be a situation where UConn doesn't win anything in 2027 or South Carolina. Like it might be a team that comes out of nowhere that you didn't expect because a lot of players in college basketball, women's and men's, are moving around. Like the old days of I'm going to stay with one team and one coach. Like nowadays, the college students want to win, and they'll move to any team that they feel can, help them win and help them advance their careers. And so a lot of teams that we expect to win next year with women's college basketball, men's college basketball, a lot of teams that you expect to win might not win. And I think that, people have always talked about the transfer portal and all this other stuff, but I think it's a good thing. Like, I think if a person doesn't want to stay with a particular team, they have the right to go. And then, like I said, it's on the fan side of things, it creates a situation where one team isn't dominant for, years and years and years and years. Like now, like I said, TCU might dominate. It could be Vanderbilt. Like you never know. So I just find it, like I said, we're in interesting times, and the skill level on a lot of these players on both sides, the women's side and the men's side with college, has increased. I mean, the players now can take 3-pointers. They can do it all. Like you have folks now that can play on the inside and step back and shoot a 3-pointer. So that's just my opinion. But like I say, it was a great game with UConn in Michigan. It could have went either way. And in the comment section, let me know if you think, how do you feel about that game? Do you think that, UConn made a lot of mistakes? Do you think UConn could have won? Or do you think, Michigan was going to win anyway? So let me know in the comment section, and then also give this a like. Thank you.